Hey, good evening, welcome back. Maya Rigging 101, part 2. So, last time we did the leg with the inverse foot roll system and the solid knee technique, which prevents the knee from flipping. And today we're gonna tackle the arm. We're gonna, pretty much change the entire arm. And we're gonna do some pretty interesting stuff. So we're gonna add the forearm twist. We're gonna add controls to it. We're gonna add the double jointed elbow system, and we're gonna do math in Maya. It's not that difficult as it sounds though, so don't worry about it yet, so hold your tears. It's actually really cool once you get the trick behind it. It's actually really interesting and really powerful, which is of course interesting. But before we continue, I actually kind of fucked up last time. So when we look at our mesh in our rig and our joint system, we've kind of got to add a joint here in the middle. The thumb actually has one more joint, which is here, so I kind of fucked it up. But it's actually really helpful because now I can show you a simple trick to actually add one here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of that joint over here. You can do that by clicking on a child of it, so in this case this one, and then hitting Shift P on your keyboard, which means that it's unparented and now it's just a loose rogue joint. So again, Shift P is unparent. I'm gonna rename this straight away. I'm gonna call this joint thumb 2, arrow down, thumb 3, and thumb 4. Okay. So how do we get a joint exactly in the middle of here? It's actually a really cool trick. I'm gonna create a joint, just a nub, or just the sphere here, nothing more. And then I'm gonna select my hand, this one here, and the thumb joints. And then I'm gonna select my freshly created joint over here. I can go to my constraint tab in my rigging, constraint, and then the point. Then I make sure that my maintain offset is turned off, right? So I can then hit add. I'll show what happens. It actually perfectly centers between this joint and this joint. It's a very simple trick. So one more time, and I'll show you what happens when you turn on maintain offset. So without it, it centers in the middle of it. But if you turn it on, it just stays in position like this. So really not that helpful in this case. So again, maintain offset should be turned off, and then bloop, it centers perfectly in between. So next step would be to go to our Windows and Outliner and delete the point constraint that we just added. There we go. And then I'm gonna shrink it down a little bit by 0.3 probably. There you go. Check. So how can you add a joint in between from this one to that one? It's actually really simple. So first you select the child, in this case this one, then the parent, the hand, and then I can hit P again, or parent, on my keyboard. So again child, in this case the thumb, and this one again, and P. There you go. And let's name this thumb 1. Let's hit save. So now comes a really important thing about rigging, is that you make sure that the rotation axes are set up correctly. In this case it's not, right? So this one is going that way and this one is going that way. It's really fucked up. So we need to fix it. We need to fix the joint orientation. So I'm going to select it here, and I'm going to click on skeleton and then orient joint. Now you can set the orient joint to world, but you don't want to do that in this case. And you can also set the orient children of selected joints. In this case, when I do that, see they all align perfectly. You can check it by going to your display and then transform display. The X should be pointing down towards the child, in this case here. So same here, X towards the child, and same here. Now when I actually hit rotate on the joint over here, you can actually see that it rotates properly. And when I select them all, so this one, this one, and this one, you can actually see it actually rotates properly, like so. So let's check the other fingers. They're probably wrong as well. So in this case the X looks, this looks okay, but when you start rotating it, you actually see that you start breaking the finger. So we need to do the same. So again, skeleton, orient joint, bloop. Same here, click, G on the keyboard, last action, and here. Solid. Just a simple trick to make sure that everything is set up correctly. I'm going to turn it off again. There you go. So that the rotation is actually going in the right direction and you don't break fingers or the entire hand when you start rotating it. So make sure that the joint orientation is set up correctly. Okay. So how do you add a forearm twist? Well, for the forearm twist you need multiple joints in the forearm. Obviously, that all twist in a certain manner depending on how far you twist the actual hand. Say for example that the hand twists 90 degrees, like this. Oh, this is bad, but you get the idea. Then this part here should then be half, right? So then this joint here should rotate by half. Of course, there's no joint yet, so we need to fix it. Let's do the double elbow setup. I'm going to show you why. So when I now hide it, and when I actually grab my forearm, when I rotate it all the way up, you can actually see that the joints start intersecting. They actually go through each other, which looks really painful. So we kind of don't want to do that. So we need to fix it by a simple trick. You can actually insert a joint into an already existing joint setup by just going to skeleton and then insert joint, funnily enough, and then click here in the middle somewhere and then just drag it down to where you want it to be, like this. Let's grab our mesh again, and I kind of want this one to be roughly around here. I hope you see it around here, and this one around here. So this joint in between will fill up this entire elbow area. So I'm gonna grab it, I'm gonna hold D, and I'm gonna lower it down to somewhere around here. Same for this one, like so. Basically a little bit towards the back actually, like this. Make sure that you double click on the move tool and then you set it to object, because if you set it to world, for example, then you get this. So object, it's a little bit easier to actually move stuff. Then you can see that you get this really nice joint in the middle that fills up this entire elbow area, which is perfect. So now when we actually rotate it, so I'm going to grab these two, you can actually grab this one. You can actually see that they don't intersect anymore, or not as much anymore, at least. I have no idea what it's doing. So again, make sure that the skeleton or in joint, they're all set up correctly. In this case, this is good. This should be here as well. There you go. Let's grab these two again. Let's try again. Now you can see that they no longer actually intersect. So it's a simple trick. It's really helpful, so don't be afraid to use it. It helps a lot actually. Okay. Easy peasy. So let's add the forearm twist. I'm gonna go with 3 joints because we're gonna go hardcore. I mean, fuck it, right? So again, first the child here, and then I'll hit Shift B again on my keyboard, like this. Then we're gonna do the same method as we did with the thumb over here. So I'm gonna create 1 joint first, then this one, and then this one, and then this one. Again, point. There you go. Again, make sure that you delete the point constraint. There you go. Let's add 2 more. So 1 deselected, 2. So this one, this one, this one, point, and this one, this one, this one, point. There you go. Let's grab it again. Delete the point constraint that we just made. So that will be this one and this one. There you go. Okay, connect it again by first selecting the child and then the parent, and then hitting P on the keyboard, and same again. Oh, child, parent, P, child, parent, P, child, parent, P. Again, make sure that the joint rotation is set up correctly. In this case, it's not. You can see it right here. This one is perfect. This one, the X is pointing like that direction, and this one as well. But the X should be pointing towards the child again. So again, this time I'm gonna turn off the rotate or orientate children selected joints. I'm gonna hit apply again and again. Oh, again. So now we look at it. The X is pointing towards the child. Same here, same here, same here. Very simple trick. Just look at the X. That's it. Okay. Looks good. So before we go any further, I'm gonna duplicate it because this setup cannot be duplicated. So make sure that you don't finish one arm completely first, then you're like, I'm gonna duplicate it. It won't work. So in this case, skeleton, mirror joints all the way up there. Let's change the prefix straight away. So modify prefix hierarchy names. This would be L underscore, like that. So everything now has L, as you can see. I should name them, to be honest. Let's delete this first. I'll do this straight away. So this would be our L underscore elbow, lower arm twist, arm twist. Let's do 3. This point, let's count down. Let's copy it. This would then be 2, 1, and then we should get to the hand. Yep, perfect. Let's delete this again because we're lazy. Actually, that's not. So this should be actually upper arm. This should be elbow, lower arm twist. 3. Oh, let's copy it again. 2, 1, and that should be the hand. It's a bit annoying that it actually adds the number in between, but yeah. Let's select the entire chain and let's go prefix. This should be R underscore. There you go. So everything now is R underscore. Oh, the pinkies are actually wrong. Oh, that's really annoying. I'll just do it later, okay? Otherwise we're gonna spend here all day long. I don't want to do that. Let's do this one actually as well. So let's do mirror joints here. This should be. Oh, let's do this as well. Modify prefix L underscore and R underscore. There you go. It's now slowly starting to look like something. Brilliant. Okay. So let's add a controller for the hand. I'm gonna create a simple circle, something like this maybe. Move it up and just hit snap again with V on your keyboard. Maybe a little bit smaller like this. There you go. Let's call this left or control left hand. And most importantly, again, don't forget to freeze the transformations like this. I'm gonna duplicate straight away to this side. Hold V again. There you go. And this should be R. I just do this because then I know these sizes are perfectly the same. It's just I don't know. It's just a little bit lazy, but hey, sue me, right? Okay. So next up is really important. Is where you add the IK handle for your arm. Normally without the forearm twist you would add it on the hand itself, but in this case if we were to do that, I'll show you what happens. We get this really funky thing where the arm actually starts bending. I kinda don't want to do that, right? So we're gonna add it here on this joint over here. So IK handle, this is the elbow, I'm gonna add it here like that, right? So now the arm still behaves like an actual arm, even though we still got this nice elbow volume. It's really helpful. So I'm gonna do like this, but then we should move the actual pivot point towards the hand itself, so we can still parent it to this one, to the actual controller, so it can move around. So how do you do that? This is a little bit more tricky, so I'm gonna go to our node editor again. I'm gonna clear my graph like this, and I'm gonna add, select it by clicking here on input output connections. This is the IK handle itself, the group, and then in here you got the arm, the effector, and the solver itself. You can move the effector, sorry. This is the actual cross that you see here. So you can hold it and then you can just hold D and move it around. All the way down, like here. And hold V if you want to. There you go. So now the actual IK handle, even though it's still here, it's still, but it now moves. Oh, I should really hold D again. If it actually would move, it doesn't. There you go. So now it actually is still there, but the pivot point is now here. So it's a simple trick. By just moving the effector, you can actually change the location of your IK pivot. Simple but very effective. Okay, so now we can parent the control to this one, but we're not going to parent, but we're going to do a little bit differently. So I'm going to select my controller and then my IK handle. I'm going to go to constraint and then point again, but this time I'm going to make sure that the maintain offset is turned on. Now I'm going to add it. Now the point constraint only affects the actual movement, as you can see, and it doesn't affect the rotation, which is exactly what we want, right? So point constraint only moves the position of the object, like this. Perfect. Let's name this as well. So this would be IK left hand. Okay. So now when we rotate this controller, we also want the hand to rotate and the forearm twist to be in effect. So what we're going to do again is we're going to add a different constraint here this time. So I'm going to select my controller, then my hand this time, and then I'm going to go constraint and then orient constraint. That's nothing more than a rotational constraint. So now when I rotate this, it just moves the hand, but you can still move around the actual IK. A simple trick. So point constraint on the IK and orient constraint on the hand itself, so it just only does the rotation, as you can see, in every single direction that you want to. Brilliant. Not that difficult, right? So far. So now we want that when we move the hand, when rotated on the y-axis, this joint here rotates 75% on the x-axis, this one 50%, and this one 25%. There's a little bit more of a different method, but it's not that difficult. It's just a simple trick, right? So I'm going to show you that trick, obviously. So I'm going to go to my node editor again. I'm going to hit clear. So there's nothing in it. I'm going to add my controller by clicking add here, add selected to the node. I'm going to hide this one all the way down there. Same thing for this one, for the joint here. I'm going to add it. I'm going to add this one as well. I'm going to add this one as well, like this. So twist 1, twist 2, and twist 3. Okay. The line here just means that it's parented to each other, so that this is the parent of 2 and this is the 2 is the parent of 1, etc. So now we get to the actual trick. I'm going to get my hypergraph or hypershade again, and I'm going to go to my utilities one more time. This time I'm going to go for my multiply divide node, this one here. This is just a multiplication / division operator. So I'm going to hold mouse button 3 or middle mouse button. I'm going to drag it into this one, but I'm going to do it in total of 3 times. So one more. There you go. Then I'm going to hide it. So we're going to use the multiplication or multiply divide to actually control how much percentage of the rotation of the controller affects the joint. Sounds complicated, but trust me, it's not that difficult. So let's do the first one first. So this one. So when we rotate this on the y-axis, I want this one to rotate by 75%. On the x-axis. So I'm going to click here on my output. I'm going to go to rotate and then rotate y. Let's use multiply divide 2 first. Input 1, input 1i, right? Then you get this one as well. The unit conversion is fine, just ignore it. Done. This is the forearm, so I'm gonna click here on my output y. I'm gonna connect it to my rotation x. Again, the unit conversion there is fine. So now when I rotate this one, the other one, you can see here it actually starts rotating with it. But in this case by 100%. I kind of don't want to have it 100%. So I'm going to go to my multiply divide node, attribute editor, and type here 0.75, 0.75, and 0.75. Which makes sense. So now when I rotate this, you can see it starts slowing down a little bit, which is perfect. So let's do the same for the other ones. So let's do the forearm twist 2. I'm going to grab the multiply divide 3. Again, same here, rotate y to the multiply divide input 1y, then the output y to the rotate x. Let's grab it, let's turn this to 0.5. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Let's see it again. You should see a slow, you can actually see it, right? It's working really well actually, flawless. Let's grab the lower arm twist 3, this one. Should have one more divide, there it is. And again, same here, control hand. So rotate y to input 1y. Let's grab the unit conversion, there it goes. Output y into rotate x. let's grab the unit version. It's really annoying, but yeah. There you go. Again, let's grab the multiply here, and then this time it's 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. Let's check it, let's save it real quick. So then you should see a very nice slow gradient all across the entire joint, as you can see here. So this one is moving by 75%, this 15, this 25%. So this is a very simple 4-arm twist setup, and it works really well. So let's test it, right? So we're gonna set this to 90. So this should be something also that's perfect. This should be 45. This should be 22. Yep, 22.5. So it does the math for us. It's very simple. And since we only did it to the Y, when we move this, nothing happens. Same goes for the X, or it's only on the Y axis. See, not that difficult. Okay. So with the knee, we use a different method. We use the solid knee method, but for the arms we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to add a pull factor constraint, which means that we can actually rotate it with a controller. Right now the twist, it controls the pointing of the the elbow. And in this case we're going to use a controller for it, so I'm going to go to my front view. I'm going to create a circle again, here, ish. I'm going to hold V, maybe right there. I'm going to move it to the back, a little bigger actually would be nice, there you go. Then this would be IK, let's call control, let's call this PV for pull factor arm or elbow or whatever you want to call it. Again, freeze transformations, there you go. Then I'm going to select my controller, then my IK handle, and I'm going to go for constraint and then pull factor. Let's make sure that the maintain offsets, there is none, that helps. But in this case, when you now move it, you can actually see it starts pointing towards the... I should really move it a little bit. It should probably be pointing here, so let's do it here-ish. Again, freeze transformations, constraint pull factor. Of course you could just move it if you want to, so the alignment is still perfect. Well, it doesn't really matter that much, but something like this. There you go. Perfect. Then you can actually point towards the location if you want. Brilliant. Not that difficult. Let's add these two to the controller setup. So controllers, there you go. This should be in my rig. Just a little bit more clean. So there you go. Let's go a bit further. You can add the control to fingers to the actual hand controller, to this one. It's just to make things a little bit more easier for the animator, because the rig itself would always be hidden. You don't want to bother the guy or girl who's doing the animation with all the joints and IK handles, etc. You just want to give them the controls and like, this is it, use them. So we want to add them to the control handle, to the controller. Of course you can make a different setup. You can actually add controls here for the actual fingers as well. It's fine. It's just, I mean, whatever rocks your boat. It's not that difficult. You can, for example, let's go to the, let's make a controller here, right? So small one, move it up. And I'll just show this example as well. I'm going to place it here. First I'm going to snap it to this joint, and then I'm going to move it outwards, something like this. Maybe let's give it a little bit more shape, because we can. I'm going to freeze transformations again, and then I'm going to move the actual pivot point by holding D and V at the same time. So now the rotation is now set on the actual joint itself. And then this should be a child of the hand. First I'm going to call on just control left. I think this is the index finger. Okay. You can link this of course to the actual controls itself, but I'll show you a different trick. So what I'm gonna do here though, actually let me think about it. Let's do this. You can actually use set-driven keys for this, which means that you can add keyframes for certain values in your rig that control or drive certain rotations or movement of your objects. So it's under animation. Took me a while to find it because they changed it again. So then on the key you can find the set-driven key set. You get this menu, and then you can load the driver and the driven. So the driver is the thing that controls the animation or the rotation or whatever, and the driven is the one that you want to drive. It kind of makes sense, right? So load driven, load driver. This is the driver, and then I want to rotate on the Z axis. So rotate Z. I'm gonna click here, rotate Z. So what do we want to drive? What do you want to control? In this case, it's the fingers, all of them. In this case, I'm gonna load driven. All of them. I think then it's the rotate. Let's see, what rotation is this? Z. Rotate Z, right? So this is the default state. So I'm gonna hit key. Again, I'm gonna select them. First, I'm gonna move this one to something like let's go for a maximum of like minus 45 degrees, something like this. Then I'm gonna select my joints again. I'm gonna rotate them to the angle that I kind of want it to be, so something like maybe maximum of this. The hand is kind of big, so we probably want something like this here, like this for example. And again, key. What then happens when you rotate this one back, you can actually start seeing the fingers move based on the controller. It's a very simple method and it works really well. Of course, you can go even further by adding mini controllers here for the separate parts of the fingers. Of course, you can also go in a negative value, so you can go something like as well, like minus, let's do 25 for example, 22.5, which I kind of want to be the maximum. Again, select all the fingers, and then move them up, something like this, right? And then again, hit key. So now the finger controls them all. When I set to 0, it's default state. Then you can move it all the way up to this is the highest point. You can't go any further than this. The finger just stops moving, and all the way down you get this. Very simple trick. Ideal for individual finger control. Of course, you can go further. You can also do something like, for example, this one. You can add a attribute here. Let's call it fist. Let's use an integer with a minimum value of 0, maximum of 100. Default value 0. Then you can hit add, and it appears here in your attribute editor, right there. And you can do the same thing here. So I'm gonna load my driver. In this case, it's the fist, the control hand, and the fist. Because I don't want it to drive the actual fist animation. Then I'm gonna select all my joints individually. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but you'll live. Load driven. I'm guessing it's the Z again. So I'm gonna select them all in here and rotate Z. I'm gonna hit key. Then I'm gonna select my fist. I'm gonna set it to 100. Now it says now I have to select them all again. It's a bit annoying, but yeah, you get the idea. And select them all, and then again rotate them all till it makes a fist. Well, this one is doing it wrong because I've kind of forgot this one as well. Oh, I forgot that one. So here we go again. Check. Rotate. Well, the thumb is doing it wrong, but yeah, you get the idea, right? Then you can hit key, and then you can move this one, and it actually creates the fist for you. So really helpful method. You can see here, makes the fist. Really helpful method. It's used a lot because it gives you a bit more control. Stuff like this actually looks really fancy. The finger controls here for the actual rotation of the fingers. So simple method, but really helpful. So don't be afraid to use it and experiment with it, because it's really helpful. I'm gonna delete it though. I'm gonna hit edit attribute. I'm gonna set this one fist. I kind of want to delete it though, but fist, delete. There you go. Of course you can do the same thing for the other fingers as well. But that's the same method as I showed you last time. Right? Easy. Easy peasy. So I'm gonna do this one as well, the other hand as well, which I won't show you because it's boring. It's the same whole video again, so you can just wind back all the way back to the start and just watch it again. That's what I'm gonna do. So next time we'll do the spine, which will be a spline IK spine setup. Nice thumb breaker. And then we're gonna add the other controls as well probably, or we're gonna go and add muscles. I'm not quite sure yet, because I kinda wanna add muscles to the character. Simple muscles like for the latissimus dorsi over here and the pecs, so they deform a little bit better. But it's something for next time. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was very useful. And I'll see you again next time.